Good afternoon, I'm Mr. Rich. Thank you for joining me for this video where we are doing something interesting and different. Recently I presented two videos on the algorithm process for determining a maximum and a minimum from an array of numbers. Here we're demonstrating you the same thing in a unified code using C++, the same effect, the same task, the same objective. From a list of randomly generated numbers we will determine a maximum and a minimum. The algorithm will be developed here before you. Let's state our task here again. We will do a random generation of numbers from which we will determine a maximum and minimum, meaning the computer will be doing that, but we'll be developing the code so the computer can do all of that. At the very bottom right over here, I'm going to switch to this C++11, which is good for beginning or for beginner programs, and then I'm going to start by erasing most of this. Let's start by adding two more pre-processing directives. We have ctime and we will add cmath. The IO stream enables the computer to do input-output string. We can write sentences. Ctime and cmath helps us for the generation of the random numbers. And now we'll add using namespace std, which will enable us to shortcut through our input-output commands. And finally int main, so that we can actually write the code. We want to start here by generating three integer variables, or assigning three integer variables, int n, minimum and max. N will be the value which the computer will assign random numbers to. Minimum and maximum, you know what they are. They will be the eventual output in terms of the lowest and the highest number of your array. Maximum should obviously be assigned as 0 because it can work its way up towards the highest number of your array. Minimum should be assigned the highest value here. We'll do 100 so it can work its way down to the true minimum number. I want to look here at domain inputs from 0 to 100 only. Hence the maximum, minimum, 0, 100 respectively are ideal. Now the commands, we can actually do random number generation. srand static cast unsigned time and then 0, and we close it out. Don't worry too much about the syntax. Those familiar with C++ will understand it. Those not, it's not a big deal because you're looking here at the algorithm development process. That's it. Now we'll do our loop. For int a equals 0, a should be less than 20 because I want to do 20 numbers only starting from 0. 0 up to 19 is 20 numbers. 0 up to 20 will be 21. I want to do 20 numbers. Plus a. Now we can do our actual assignment of the random numbers to our variable n. N will equal random number %100. The %100 ensures we'll get 1 or 2 digit numbers, nothing larger than 99. Now we will do our conditions, comparison and conditions. If n were larger than maximum, then the maximum should become that value n. If n were less than a certain minimum number or assigned minimum of 100, then the minimum should adopt this new value n. Everything will trickle down to the real value maximum and minimum as the count occurs and the loop occurs. We can close this loop. But before we close it out fully, I want to have the computer generate me what the numbers were actually so I can see them. As they're generated, we'll see what the numbers were. Then we can see truly that the maximum and minimum are indeed correct. Computers don't make mistakes, but this is added level of confidence for us. I want the computer to demonstrate what the numbers were. And more than anything, I want to see which count number they were as well. And then we will see exactly what number is generated by the computer at each step. The very last line here will be the computer demonstrating what the actual maximum and what the actual minimum are for us. We close it all out by return 0 and the final curly parentheses. The code looks good to me. We have our pre-processing directives at the top, the int main, the three variables n, minimum and max. Maximum is 0, minimum is 100. We have the loop. The loop should be generating 20 numbers. Each step along the way the random numbers will be displayed. The conditions will assign the maximum and minimum with each step. Finally we will display our output. We have a little button here at the very lower right corner. It's a blue button. You can see it right here. When I click on that, it will do this computation. But let me bring the camera back into your focus. Let's click it and let's compile. And here's the code for us. The random number 1, the first number of the count is 75, and then the second number is 33, the third is 48. But you can see it's going all the way. Using that %100 in my command has generated 1 digit and 2 digit numbers. But from these lists of 20 numbers, you can see there are 20. 1 going up to 20, but each of these count numbers is assigned a randomly generated number, and you can see what they are. But from all of these, we're seeing a maximum here of a 93 and a minimum of a 0. And you'll see that right here. The random number 17, count 17 was a 0. The 20th number which was generated here was a number 93. And you can see everything here was very well demonstrated. A maximum and minimum developed and generated from a count of 20 generated numbers. We can run this program again and see a new set of 20 numbers and a new maximum and a minimum. I'll compile this program again. And it just did it for us, and you can see right here is our new list of 20 numbers. Going all the way from 1 up to 20, we have a maximum here of 99 and a minimum of 2. The 11th number of the series was a 2, the minimum, and the 13th number here was a 99. Let's run this program here once more for a third set of numbers. It just did it real fast, under 1 second, and I'm seeing here a 95 being generated as our 9th number, a 0 being generated as our first number, and again at the very bottom the maximum 95, minimum 0, and we're good. Just for interest's sake, before we end this, let's do a minor modification. We're going to change the minimum here to 1000 because I want to generate now 3-digit numbers. I'm going to change this %100 to %1000 so I can have 1, 2, or 3-digit numbers being generated. Again, 20 will be generated. But let's see what happens when we run this program. We compile it. I'm going to compile it, and here it's doing the work for me. And now we are seeing 3-digit numbers pop up, going from 1, our count number 1, all the way up to count number 20 right here on the bottom. But we're seeing these numbers. Based on these numbers, we have a maximum here which is 930 and a minimum which is 53. But where are these in terms of our list? The random number 4 was 53. The random number 5 was 930. And those were at maximum and minimum. Let's, for finality purposes, run this program once more. A new list of 20 numbers have been generated up to 3 digits, going no higher than 999. From this list, we have a maximum here of 948 and a minimum of 83. You can scroll through this list of 20 numbers. You can see the 7th number here, random number 7, was 948. You can see here the random number 14 was that 83, the maximum and the minimum respectively. And that brings us to the end of this video. Now you're seeing the beauty of programming here, particularly C++. The computer does all the work. It generates the numbers, then it assigns the maximum and the minimum from that randomly generated list of numbers. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.